Okay, so Kevin Mills here with you, December 4th, 2019. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving and look forward to showing you the new B truck here in a couple of days. It's up, just getting some tune-ups done, and I'll do a video of it. I really like it, really like it. And also, too, a very big thank you to all of you who took advantage of our first ever Black Friday nuke sale. Um, I keep amusing myself because I keep wanting to say it was a record sale number, and it was, because it's the first year we've ever offered a Black Friday nuke sale. So even if we sold one, it was a record. But we did way more than that, and really thank you so much for your business trust. Really appreciate it, and we want to continue to keep earning it by just providing like this YouTube channel. Hopefully this is continues to be educational. Continue to send me questions that we can address. Jason emailed me such a question, and that is about the pros and cons of wintering nukes. And I'm new to wintering nukes. This will be my third winter of wintering them, and what inspired me to actually start trying to incorporate nukes into my operation was Michael Palmer. If you haven't listened to any of his lectures, look them up. Michael Palmer, uh, incredible resource. Some really great stuff. He's out in Vermont. Um, the reason that I started incorporating them was because it seemed like a great way to build up numbers quickly, in the sense that when you make a split, it's a weird thing. The more you can somewhat crowd the bees, but not to the point of them getting a swarm impulse, especially in the spring, summer, they seem to do better. If you over super, especially in the beginning of the year, that can really set them back. Mostly probably because of just the ability to keep the brood area warm. And so I find that these nukes, these 4-frame nuke configuration that I use after Michael Palmer, build up very quickly. And a lot of times what I'll do, and we'll make a video of this in the spring, is, soon as those 4 frames are full and they're ready for another nuke super, one of these, I'll throw that on top, and then I'll make splits off of the nukes the same way that, and I mean, I've been doing queen rearing off of these nukes, which actually worked really well. There's all sorts of things, but on the split side of it, what I'll do is, put that second box on there, and then after they have started building brood into that, I'll come shake them down, put a queen excluder, give them 2-3 hours, or the next day, whatever works schedule wise, and then take that top box off, that top super, and either put a queen cell or a queen that I've purchased, and you have a new split. So it's pretty easy to build up numbers quickly. Pros and cons of wintering. On the wintering side of it, I could certainly see, yeah, I don't mind me, I've got all these different things going through my mind. Our winters, for the most part, are pretty mild. There was actually a guy in Port Angeles, that's is kind of on the peninsula if you're not familiar with Washington, who was showing me a setup that he had made. I think it was a regular 10-frame super deep that he had partitioned so that he could have 4 2-frame nukes, and he was successfully wintering those. So the nice thing here is, because I'm thinking for Michael Palmer or even other people I know who have nukes in colder climates, a lot of times you have to winter them on top of a regular colony just to help with heat. Here I've found that just having them, the two side by side works. Nukes, obviously, because of their size, are not going to go through as much feed uh, in the winter as a full size production colony. But at the same time, the less bees you have, more difficulty they have in maintaining a winter cluster and regulating temperature. So I guess there's one of the pros and cons, if that makes sense. But no, I'll probably know a bit better my theories of nukes. A frustration that I have of using this setup is that, as our operation expands, time management's really key. And the idea of having to handle, so, okay, like I was saying before, okay, if I take this, make a split with it, at some point, if I want that to be a production-sized colony, I'm going to yet again have to handle the frames and put them into a full-size box. Whereas, the way that we make, well, here again, the way to make increase, there's so many different multitude of ways, but what it comes down to is what I like to do most of the time is when the full-size scale or full-size colonies come back from almonds that look good, open them up, split the brood so that you have, say 3 frames of brood, but you could do it 2, depending on weather too, but I mean, mild spring. Anyways, 3 frames of brood, evenly distributed, so maybe you'll end up having 3 or 4 boxes high by the time you distribute the brood. And you can shake the bees down in the beginning if you're, wanting to make sure the queen's in the bottom. Or, anyways, there's so many different ways of doing this. But usually what I'll do is shake the queen down to the bottom, all the bees, separate the brood so I have 3 frames in each box. So say I have it 4 boxes high. Come back the next day, take those 3 boxes down, give them queens or queen cells, and then put a new box on top of this. With that kind of arrangement, I never have to really handle those bees again, except for supering them or giving them space. Whereas, when I'm making increase with these, I'm having to handle them twice as much because I'm having to take them out of these 4-frame nuke boxes. So anyway, I don't know if that helps you at all. It's just kind of me. One thing I want to reiterate over and over again is with beekeeping, I can think of maybe 1 or 2 things that are definitive that you always have to do to make beekeeping successful. But, such as, your bees need feed to live, and I mean, just essentials like that. But as far as the management side of it, your climate, your location, your management style, your systems for your operation, all of that come into play. The breed of bees that you're using, all of that is a variable that you have to take into consideration. So I mean, in full disclosure, I've actually considered phasing out the 4-frame nukes, and just simply going back to using completely standardized deep boxes. Once again, just so that the equipment is interchangeable. I do like the fact that these nuke boxes, they're built in such a way that they will sit. You can sit a regular size box on top or underneath. But once again, for me, time management is really important, and so the less handling, the better. So anyways, that's some of the pros and cons. I think I'll have to review this video, see if I made any sense. So anyway, but Jason, thank you so much for the question, and please keep them coming.